Thank you, Chairman Boxer and Ranking Member Vitter, for hosting this important hearing, and Administrator McCarthy, thank you for being here, for your continued leadership on this vital issue. Obviously, my state has a very different point of view than that expressed by the Ranking Member. We are on the losing end of carbon pollution in a lot of respects, and we urge you on. EPA's mission to protect human health and the environment is one of the most fundamental and popular responsibilities of the Federal Government, and there's no greater environmental threat today than climate change. EPA has a duty to respond. It also has a mandate to respond. EPA took a critical step forward in this fight when it exercised its existing Clean Air Act authority, as established by Congress and as affirmed by the Supreme Court, to propose carbon pollution standards for existing power plants. That proposal is based on unprecedented public engagement, more than 300 public meetings with stakeholders of all kinds and across the political spectrum. EPA's plan puts states in the driver's seat to come up with their own best plans to meet state-specific targets. States and power companies have a wide variety of options to cut carbon pollution, like boosting renewable energy, establishing energy savings targets, investing in efficiency, or joining one of the existing cap-and-trade programs like our RGGI program in New England. States can develop plans that create jobs, plans that cut electricity costs by boosting efficiency, plans that achieve major pollution reductions. As proposed, the rule will reduce carbon pollution while providing as much as $93 billion in public benefit, $93 billion in public benefit per year by 2030. A recent Washington Post ABC News poll found that 70% of the public supports Federal standards to limit carbon pollution. Last month, the Wall Street Journal and NBC News also released a poll showing that 2/3 of Americans support President Obama's new carbon pollution standard. More than half say the U.S. should address climate change, even if it means higher electricity bills for them. But it won't, because efficiency can reduce your bill, even if the per-unit cost can go up. EPA's proposal is supported by major utilities like National Grid, faith organizations like the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, public health groups like the American Lung Association. There's also support from nameplate American corporations like Mars, Nike, and Starbucks. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter from more than 125 American companies expressing support for the standard.
Without objection, so ordered. I just want to mention, could you freeze the clock for a minute? If there are babies who are talking, it's important that you consider that we have an overflow room at G50, so because it's kind of hard to hear over that wonderful sound that we're hearing from the back. Your call, but we do have a room at G50. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had 4 former Republican EPA administrators to testify before our subcommittee on clean air and nuclear safety last month. They agreed, all 4, that EPA's rule is a reasonable way to reduce carbon pollution, and that industry has a history of overstating the compliance costs of environmental regulations. The benefits of the Clean Air Act, according to a 2011 EPA assessment, will outweigh its cost by a ratio of 30 to 1. $30 of value in the lives of regular Americans for every $1 the polluters had to pay in cleanup costs. That's a good deal for America. Administrator McCarthy, EPA's carbon pollution standards will lead to tremendous economic, environmental, and health benefits for Americans. Do not be deterred by the polluters and their Republican allies in Congress who attack the proposal. They are fighting to protect the present status quo, which is polluters polluting at will and profiting at public expense. And do not worry, you are way more popular than they are, and the American people have far more confidence in you. States are already achieving greater energy efficiency and renewables use than assumed in the proposed standards. Factor those into the standards. Raise the bar. Develop carbon pollution standards for other major sources like cement kilns and refineries. Administrator McCarthy, the American people are behind you and counting on EPA to stand strong against the polluters. Stand up for the American people and go even further as you develop the final power plant standards in the months ahead. History will judge your efforts favorably. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.